Trying to kill UCCU. Ryan jumped in.
You did jump into
We're gonna have fun today, folks.
I'm glad you're here.
Perfect.
I'm glad
Okay.
you're not hostile Hutchings.
We will, we'd like to welcome everybody to this city council meeting on June 9th, 2026. And we are actually going to start with a public hearing regarding the proposed ordinance to increase compensation for the mayor, the city council, and just the mayor and city council for Woodland Hills beginning fiscal year 2026 through 2027. Do I have any of the public here that's?
Some comments when they're good enough.
You want to, please.
How many more times I need? I'll make it mad.
Oh, no. I'm gonna make everybody mad. That's my job.
Oh, well, hostile watch.
You're gonna have to arm wrestle me for that tonight.
I'm already planned out.
The floor is yours.
I just want to mention that I support
I forgot to change my
the
shirt.
employee raises along with the council and mayor's huge raises, which are not huge. I did some research today and Elk Ridge pays their council $500 a month. So you certainly deserve, just barely over half of it. So congratulations on making that decision. Additionally, I think the city should support paying for your fuel when you travel to training. I'm still believing in that. Secondly, I support strongly the pickleball court. We worked hard, you worked hard for a couple of years to get that grant, and I heartily support that. And I propose we name it Burger Court or Burger Lunt Court.
Yeah.
So those are my feelings about things. Good job.
Thank you. David.
I've made fewer notes than I had written down. Okay, David Stones, Mayor, City Council, thanks for all you do. Just some thoughts. I just want to, pretty much ditto there, but I do have some guiding principles of things that I've been thinking about. Specifically since I do snowplow occasionally and run into some of the similar sort of nonsense that's happening. The unreasonable can't be reasoned with, just one of those things that I think. The delusional are delusional. The purveyors of nonsense and negativity do it to satiate their propensity to tear down. Comes down to desire for others to be miserable like unto themselves. Those that don't complain, okay? And of course, talk to themselves through numerous anonymous accounts to make it seem as if others are as spiteful as they are. Now, those are just some summary comments that I had, all right? However, to kind of wakeboard behind Doral's comments, I'll just say the following. It is well past time, and I was about to beep out a word I thought of, that you guys give yourself raises. I'm all into analytics and data, and I've done plenty of that stuff. I like to normalize data. And as far as I'm concerned, it's well past time for all the service that you do, and I want to thank you for that service. As well as, obviously city staff and all that they do for us in serving us. So I just wanted to say thanks. And if I came across a little negative at the beginning, it's just because I don't see things through that lens. I think I've mentioned it before. I could have a shattered glass with a drop of water on it. I probably think the glass is full still. Okay. And that's the way I think of each of you. I think you guys serve us well and I appreciate it and, make your decisions, but that's just my thoughts on it all. And that whole pickleball court naming thing, I'm with that too. All right. So thanks for all you do and for the city staff and all that they do on our behalf. Thanks.
Thank you. That, I guess, is why we have freedom of speech. Anybody else? Anybody online, Jody?
There was no one online.
Nobody online.
That's so weird.
Councilmember Hutchings, do you want to please sign in so we feel normal?
Mayor, can I say something at this point?
Nope. You're not part of the public. We'll get there.
Okay, all right. I am part of the public though.
We will close the regarding the proposed ordinance to increase the compensation for the mayor and city council, and we will open the public hearing for the proposed salary and wage increases for all municipal positions, including executive municipal offices for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. I assume you guys put both of your comments in this last public hearing. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I scaled it back.
I'm proud of you. Okay, then we will close that public hearing. And we will start the work session. And we will start with number 3 here, discussion of proposed ordinance amending the compensation schedule for the employees, executive officers, elected officials of Woodland Hills, Utah for fiscal year 2027. Councilmember Hutchings.
Would you like to say something first?
I'll go after.
Okay. So I want to make this official on the record. We received a letter from one of our residents addressed to the mayor and the city council
An email, right?
in an email, talking about raises to the city employees and how they oppose, increase, and express strong opposition. There's a lot of what I would feel is falseness in the letter, and I'll let those decide where that falseness is. But I do agree with a couple things, that there's some fairness that needs to be taken to taxpayers, to employees, to the mayor, city council, and those type of things. I do want to state that I personally am against raising city council wages. That's just my feeling. I don't want anybody doing this for the money. But I want to go through this number of line items here. One, the stated salaries that are in here are not correct.
In the email?
In the email,
Okay.
there are stated salaries in the email that are incorrect. If you don't have enough wherewithal to do the proper research, don't put it out there. So, do we pay more than other cities? Very possibly. Very probably. I've looked into it. Do we pay for everything that our city employees do? No. Our city employees are also volunteers. City employees do things here as a volunteer that they do not get compensated for. If we didn't have residents, current residents and former residents who haphazardly took up hundreds of hours of time doing their duties that were not part of the day-to-day operation of the city, we wouldn't be paying as much because our employees are on hourly pay. We have lots of overtime in there. This does not separate out overtime. The state doesn't separate overtime and regular pay. I have personally had to answer grammar requests. Grammar requests have come out that are just foolish in nature, in my personal opinion and my professional opinion. That is only a tiny bit compared to what our city staff has to do. The letter states that we propose to raise taxes. What did we do?
We did not.
We did not raise taxes. Matter of fact, we said we were going to, and we came back around and decided that we weren't going to. And in the effort of transparency, we held a public hearing that we didn't have to say we weren't going to, and this is why. And this is how we came up with a better solution for our residents. We
It also lists positions that we don't even have.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Yet somehow we cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, look at some of the positions that other cities have and see that we have they have assistants and other things that we don't have here. The objective evidence, now I have hired hundreds, if not thousands of people over my career. This is one of the things that I do a lot of. And I also have a lot to say in compensation and raises. And I look for compensation and raises, right? That's part of what I'm not out here working for free. I am for the city, I feel. So objectively, the way we look at raises is what a person performs for the city and what we'd have to, or performs for the entity and what you'd have to do to replace that person. And what it is worth that entity to keep that person, keep them there doing a good job if they're doing a good job. If you're doing a good job, with the exception of really hard times where you have to make massive budget cuts, you give cost of living increases. That's standard practice, not just government, but that's standard practice across the business world. And if you don't get a standard of living increase, a COLA, so to speak, you better be looking at your job performance. Because it's more expensive to live in this world and it's less expensive to keep you. So if you have a problem with giving raises because you didn't get a raise, look at your own job performance. Because I feel our city employees are doing a fantastic job of dealing with the BS that some of our residents have a tendency to bring into this office.
Daily.
Sometimes more than daily. It is not appropriate to compare Woodland Hills to Genola. It is not appropriate to compare Woodland Hills to, what else did we have in here? Huntington or Enterprise. They're a whole different animal than we are. They are cities that have sales tax revenues. They are cities that aren't on the side of mountains. They are cities who don't have rich, self-involved people who think that everybody should cater to them and only their belief is the right belief. Our job as a city council and mayor is to look at the city as a whole, in my opinion, and decide what's best for the city. First, we have to look at the legality of it. Next, we have to look at what's best for the city, not what's best for the individual, because there's a whole heck of a lot of things I'd like to have done for myself that I don't get to have done. That my wife says, but you're on the city council. Can't you get somebody? Well, hell no, I can't do that. If I don't want somebody building next to me, I'm going to buy the lot next to me. If I want somebody to clean up the lot next to me, I'm going to buy the lot and clean it up or clean it up myself. If I'm told no, I'm going to take no and find a way to make it a yes by legal means without costing the rest of my neighbors hundreds of dollars in taxes, because our city has no other way of raising money. Now, I've seen what some of the things that our city employees do on a day-to-day basis. And in my opinion, they're underpaid. I wouldn't do it for that kind of money. What I make here doesn't compare to what I make in business. I don't do this for that, but they're doing it to support their family, except for Wayne. Wayne's forced to take money. Everybody who works here puts in an immense amount of effort, and we get a lot out of that. And the way that we reward that is through pay increases. To say, you're doing a great job, keep it up. because you're doing more for the city and actually saving us money by us not having to get more people to do less work. The reason in my mind, and this is the mayor's decision, to get rid of Chris Helvey, or to let Chris Helvey go and part ways with Chris, because we have changed in the way that our city does things. Same with Corbett. We are needing to be on a different path, and every mayor has a different way of looking at that. And our current mayor felt, and I support him, that we needed to make a change. We split that, or he split those job duties on a number of people, hired a contractor and then split them through other people in the city. And they deserve to be paid for that extra work because they still have to deal with all the BS that our residents are bringing to them. So if I'm gonna close up here, I was gonna keep going, but I've been long enough. If you feel like you'd like to have more conversation about it, feel free to call me. My number's on the city website. If you want to put me on your webpage, feel free to. I loved my anonymous picture. That was the best cartoon. My wife said it made me look nicer than I am.
I agree.
And it was great. And I think that those kind of conversations, I stated something on the other page today. I think those conversations are great. I think people have the right to say what they want to say. I think people should let other people disagree with them, but some people feel that only their ideas are the right ideas and everybody else is wrong. So that's the end of my tirade. I'm really upset with the letter. I won't say who it came from, but I'm really upset with the letter. And if I don't believe so. But if you believe that we shouldn't give raises because you didn't give raises, I think you need to look at your own job performance. Because it's our job to decide if the job performance of the city employees deserves a raise. And if you want to change that, I invite you to run for mayor or run for city council, and you can actually do that. Otherwise, I was voted to do it, and I will do what I think is right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mine's really brief. It's just, and I could take any of the jobs, but I was thinking about Jody specifically. And I know that Jody acts tough, but I know that it bothers her when she's singled out. And when I look at the things that she has to do in her job, they're very similar to my day job as far as record keeping and money keeping and making sure that the laws and the rules are followed. Those are big things that I have to do every day. And then dealing with people. I have really difficult clients that I have to deal with every day, and they say things that are wrong and they try to throw me under the bus and everything's my fault. And this is my all day, every day. And that's what Jody has to deal with all day, every day. And I'm here to tell you right now, I would not do the job that I have to do or that we have to do for what she gets paid or for what she's going to get paid with the raise. Sorry, Jody, but I wouldn't do it for what you get paid. I wouldn't. I need to be compensated a whole lot more than that.
But please do.
Yes, but please do. But I'm just saying, anybody that questions, and it's everyone's right to question, but do we not understand what it takes to run a household these days? What it costs? It costs so much money. Just to be able to have a house payment and a car payment and pay your utilities, it takes a lot of money. And our employees deserve to be able to support their families. And just the BS that I know that Jody has to deal with every day, I wouldn't do it for what she gets paid. And she deserves every penny of it, especially having some of Chris Helvey's duties added to her already busy, heavy load. I just don't know. If you don't think she deserves a raise, then you need to look at what she does all day, every day. And then you would change your mind.
Can I
Sorry.
go on record as saying something, a comment? Being new to the city council and new to the city government, I've been blown away by what our staff does. I think of all the hats that they wear and the knowledge that they have to have running government is so different than standard business. Just the regulatory nature of operating a city and other type of government entities requires a certain amount of not just can you do the work, it's can you understand all of the peripheral concentric circles around that work, whether it be regulatory, whether it be whatever it might be. And you know, I've mentioned this to my family. I was really naive of what it takes to run a small city. Having been a resident for 20 years, I just assumed that everything just was just fine. You know, like how hard can it be? You know, but I was absolutely have been just so impressed with the amount of different work that they're tasked to do. Each of their jobs has significant ramifications if it's done poorly or improperly. And I think that's probably what is not reflected in the job descriptions. You know, in my professional career, if I don't do a great job at one thing or the other, I may lose a client here, or I may make someone upset, or a meeting gets pushed or delayed. But a mistake made, you know, that affects an entire city and the 1,700 residents, it carries a lot of weight. And so that's just my statement. I feel very, very comfortable with the team and their knowledge and their expertise and their dedication to this city. And I wholeheartedly support for them. I'll never vote for myself or really anything, but for those people on staff, I have no qualms at all. So that's my statement.
Yeah, I echo everything everybody has said. I mean, I don't think you can properly quantify the full job descriptions that are being done over there. I mean, it's amazing the level of expertise in so many different facets, way beyond the titles that they have, right? So I agree. I mean, we do have an obligation to the taxpayers, and one of those obligations is to make sure that the city is being run properly, because there are far greater risks if those positions are not being done right. So, while I absolutely sympathize with the sentiments of the person in this letter, to some degree, like that, hey, yes, there needs to be evaluation, there needs to be checks and balances. I think that's where we understand that, yes, there is a lot going on that they're doing that absolutely merits this. I mean, this doesn't even scratch the surface on what they should be beginning, right? And so very small gesture. And not only if I've got to say this, if the individual who sent this letter is really so interested in tax preservation and using money financially prudently within the city, quit doing these frivolous, stupid requests and wasting the city's time and money. I mean, there is far more money being wasted on behalf of this individual than we could ever put into their salaries. So, I mean, that's my position on it. So, yeah.
Now we have, I've closed the public hearing already, but Diana, you were a little late. Did you have anything you wanted to join for the public hearing?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. I want to speak a little bit, you know, as part of my role as mayor is to, you know, manage the city, which includes its staff. One of the reasons that I frankly love my job is because of the fabulous people that we have working here. Everybody from our wonderful sergeant, to whom I need to excuse here in a second, to, you know, our enforcement officer, our public works director, our plow driver coordinator. Yes, David, I'm talking about you, right? Our 911 dispatch liaison. Our fabulous treasurer, who's not with us, Lori, and then Jody, who, you know, recently it's been commented that I have, you know, I must think of myself as having big brains. I'm thinking changing my placard here to Mayor Megamind or something, but Jody is that. She is the one that kind of keeps everything going. And back to your guys' points, right? When something doesn't happen that is required, there potentially are statutory requirements and penalties associated with that. So in the private sector, if we make errors, we could get in trouble. We could lose a client. But in the public sector here, we could get sued. It's now public record, and so I'll discuss it here, and this will be kind of part of my report later. But we at SESD just had to settle with a case. Thankfully, we didn't have to settle with too much money, but we had to settle a case because one time the agenda was uploaded 20 minutes late, right? With every single thing going on, a 20-minute penalty cost members of SESD, which includes us, a small but decent chunk of money, all because somebody was looking to exploit the law, which I feel is good, about transparency. I don't think it was intended to ding, in this case, a service district, thousands of dollars for a matter of minutes being slightly late with a 24-hour notice of a certain agenda, right? I get it. I get that the laws are written. I get that they should be followed. That is always my goal as mayor, is to make sure we are following all the different state statutes that are required. I wanted to make sure each of you had your say and could say whatever you want. I want every single one of our residents to also know that they are welcome to say whatever they want as well. I just have one request. And this is a request, not a demand. I don't have that kind of authority. If there is feelings of frustration, enmity towards the city, I would request that you take it out on the elected officials and not the staff. They are not in the same capacity as we are as elected officials. Now, granted, they have just as much agency to keep their job or not. However, as elected officials, we've decided to jump into that limelight to a degree. And so if we could maybe be a little bit more respectful towards our staff on how we portray them, whether that is in a satire-ish way, I would request that we take care of those who are taking care of us. Who are making sure our garbages run on time and get here and leave. The individuals taking care of our water, our sanitation. We should be respectful. We can also disagree on their compensation. I want it to be very clear. I don't want to be accused of hiding the ball on this. I am currently proposing a 4% raise for our Public Works Director. For added increase to work, 6% increase to our city recorder. A 12% increase, which is somewhat of a catch-up for years of services that she was not compensated, or work she was not compensated for. A 12% increase to our treasurer. And a 5% increase to our Public Works, what is his official title? Technician. Toby has been a massive boon for the city. And that is why I'm pushing for that raise. I am so grateful for the work that each one of our staff has done. As for our city council compensation increase, I do want to provide a little bit of information, because I want a clear narrative instead of maybe one that's pushing an agenda. This is a study done by the state of Utah in 2021. Farron, compensation for city council members monthly is $200 a month with a population of 1,600. Huntington is $600 a month with a compensation of 2,000. Millville City, compensation is $300 a month at $2,050. And Naples City is $645.90 a month. I'm really glad they're getting that 90 cents. At a population of 2,100. My proposal, and I want to make it very clear, this is my proposal and not the council requesting their own. and I'll tell Brian to take a hike, is an increase from 200 a month to 300 a month, which I feel is fair and probably highly comparable to where these current councils sit and probably still low. The increase that I am requesting for myself, which I feel is an extremely awkward request, but mostly I'm actually requesting it for the time my wife is sacrificing with me away so much. So is from what, 400 a month to 500 a month? Is that, no, 500 a month to 600 a month? I don't even know what I mean. All right, this is bad. Am I 400 a month? I'm 500, 600, 400, 500. I'm one of those two. The city of Farron in 2021 was paying their mayor 500 a month at a population of 1,600. So 5 years ago, that was an equivalency. Huntington is paying their mayor 1,500 a month at a population of 2,000. Millville City is at 700 a month with a population of 2,050. Naples City is $1,157. And again, I like these Naples City. They've got this great thing at 33 cents a month at 2,100 population. I wanted that just to make sure that we're somewhat comparing apples to apples. But lastly, and I'll get off my soapbox here, to a point Councilmember Hutchings raised, is making a comparison surely off of population is not comparing apples to apples. Many of the compared cities for particularly our recorder were not only the wrong numbers, because we called the recorders and asked them, but also like our public works director compared to other cities, our public works director takes care of our water, our sewer, our roads. He's over the fire department. He is over EMS. He is building, engineering, and most of those other comparable cities are contracting most of those things out. Some of them only deal with roads, let alone everything else. And so if we farmed out all of those things, we would decrease our admin expenses, but we would destroy our contracted work expenses. And so I'm looking at these things on a holistic level instead of a myopic level. And that is why I'm requesting for these raises for our staff. And so I appreciate you guys giving a good, hard consideration on that, and vote as you feel. So thank you. Anything else from any of you? Okay, well then. That was a fun one. Sergeant, thank you so much. You're excused. We're going to move to let me make sure I have the right agenda here. We're going to move to item number 4. And this one should be a lot of fun. This will be a good contrast to our last one. Discussion of an America 250 celebration on July 5th, 2026. I'll turn this over to you, Councilmember Lunt and Roden.
Sure, go ahead, Janet.
Okay, you just jump in.
Okay.
Wherever. So we have a little committee. We have Dan and myself, Shannon Gilbert in our community has offered to help also, and then Dennis Lisenby. And it's been great because they all have such different contexts. So what we've come up with is, we had a lot of ideas, but we decided just to keep it really simple. We talked about this a little bit last time. Dan and I and Shannon, we all feel like we don't want it to feel like work. We want it to be a fun evening, but very relaxing. We want people to be able to come out and set up their chairs and hang out with their friends and neighbors and just relax and enjoy the patriotism and enjoy the music and the food. So we talked to the fire department and they didn't say no to cooking the hot dogs. So we're gonna have them cook hot dogs, and the city we have a little bit of a budget that was given to us by the county. The county is giving us money, so we're not using taxpayer dollars for this. So it's we got a little bit of a grant, I guess, kind of a thing from the county. So we'll be using that, but we'll go and buy hot dogs and some of those things. And then we'll have the citizens all sign up to bring side dishes. So salads, pastas, desserts, watermelon, veggie trays, those kinds of things. And so Shannon is going to make a sign up genius for people to sign up. And one of the things she'll also ask for is some volunteers. And then we wanted to have some music. We didn't want anything too wild because it is Sunday, July 5th. And so we have Alpine Highway, and it's a group that just does kind of oldies, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. It'll be some good music that everyone will be able to sit around and enjoy. And they're going to do 45 minutes, and then they'll take a break. And then they're going to do another 45 minutes. But on the break, something that I wanted was a sing-along. So with some patriotic songs. I know, but I don't care. It's cheesy. I don't care. I like it. Dave's looking at me and laughing. So we have somebody that's going to lead those for us. They'll play and lead those for us. But the band Alpine Highway, they originally asked to be paid. And I said, I'll get the money to get them paid. And I was actually going to reach out to some people that are always offering to donate. And I was going to ask them to donate to cover the band so that it wouldn't come out of the budget. And I actually said, I'll get the money. I'll take that on and I'll find the money and we'll get them covered. And then they came back and said that they'll do it for free. They didn't want to be paid. So they just wanted to be a part of our celebration. But we do want to get them some kind of a thank you gift. So we were thinking if we could even just make like a gift basket for the band of some of the things Woodland Hills. And so we're looking if anyone has any extra bottles maybe of maple syrup. I might have one in my cupboard still that's not opened. But we were just going to maybe, make a little like a thank you. We feel like we got to do something for them because they're going to perform for 90 minutes. They're bringing out all of their equipment and going to a lot of work. So if anyone has any ideas for that, we'd love all things Woodland Hills that we can put in a thank you gift basket for them. I don't know. What else, Dan?
Well, I think I want to echo a couple things. Number one, we do want it to feel very relaxing and enjoyable. It shouldn't be a heavy labor. There will be people who are putting in time to make sure that it executes well. But for the attendees, we want it to just to be an enjoyable evening. It is going to be July 5th, and therefore, assumable will be very hot. And it's at 6:00. So I would recommend, and we'll put this out there, it's bring your own chair, but if you got a couple of pop-up shades, you want to come up a little bit earlier. If you do bring pop-up shades, please make sure that it properly staked down as well, so we get some afternoon winds. The other thing that I would also bring up is there's a lot of questions, well, maybe not a lot. There's been a few questions. I think, Mary, you put this out in your video message. Questions of it being on a Sunday. The predominant religion of the area is having a day of fasting, because that's how they're celebrating the 250th that day. But then also has been supportive of the city doing this. And so it is going to be very much a community, but we want to make sure that it's invite your friends, invite your neighbors. We would love everybody there. To as city residents, just to come in and enjoy each other. This might be one of the few times when we have an event. Well, I can't think of another event of this size that we would. It's almost another Woodland Hills Days, but obviously on a smaller scale. But great to be together again. And so I hope everyone takes advantage of it. We do realize it's a holiday weekend. We might have some people out of town, but we are looking forward to just having an enjoyable night.
And then we still probably want to do a couple of kids games. And what the thought was before the dinner and the music kind of get going, because we're doing potluck.
Yeah.
And people are going to stroll in a little bit late. So just kind of while we're getting started and people are bringing the dishes and we're waiting a minute, we thought we'd do some old fashioned kids games. So
Stick pull.
yeah, tug of war. We thought it would be fun because you could get a lot of participation we were talking about getting a big old rope and just getting lots of people on both sides and doing like a big old, we just think it would be kind of fun to have a big old tug of war, a couple of those kinds of things while we're waiting for the hot dogs to get cooked and dinner to be ready to get started. And then we're gonna have, are we gonna do a flag?
Yeah, we'll definitely do a flag component there. So I was actually in DC last week, saw some cool things that were being done around DC. So grabbed a couple of ideas from there. So we'll see how we can execute them well here if possible, but.
Oh, and also, Kathy Anderson reached out to me, Len and Kathy. Anyway, she does a big family 4th of July party at the park and she has it reserved the day before and she's going all out and she has like bounce houses and she has like a water slide. She asked me if you wanted those and I said, it's Sunday, but she's going to have it fully decorated and she's just gonna leave it up for us.
It's very nice.
So we get to use all of her stuff. So we won't even have to decorate or pay for any of that.
Fantastic.
So, and then she'll just, she'll take it all down. She said, and we'll come clean up. And I said, well, we won't let you do that. We'll help you. We'll get it cleaned up. But I love the volunteerism. I love that people are calling me and offering, you know, their help and support. So,
Very nice.
yes.
It might be an opportunity to do a replay of the Woodland Hills video.
I was thinking the exact same
Set
thing.
up on the side there, people who wanted to watch it could.
We have talked about having something like that for another city event as well. So I'm not sure if we want a triple replay.
Yeah.
We'll
have
talk
to
about it,
see.
but it was a great suggestion.
I'll talk to Dennis because there's something else in the works. So,
Wonderful. Another item that we will be doing is throughout the month of July, we are going to have the base of Woodland Hills and Summit Creek drives flanked in American flags, which should be fun. We'll have some flags here at the city building as well as up at the park on those same days. Toby doesn't know his role in that quite yet, but
we have the flags, but they need to be attached to poles.
and set out each morning, and then my boys and I will go and pull them down each night so that they're not flying at night. But it should be a lot of fun. We're hoping to make this a lot of fun. Okay, anything else there? Any
Oh.
questions, you two?
Just homemade root beer.
Oh, yep.
So Shannon, she said she's a professional homemade root beer maker.
Oh,
Tell her to double the yeast.
And so she's going to get a little crew together and we'll use, Jody, we have plenty of the 5-gallon jugs here because I use them always for Halloween, for hot cocoa. So we'll use those and then the couple that I have at my house, and I might need a couple more, but I'll reach out and get some. But to put all the root beer in. And the only thing we'll need to really buy, I mean, besides the hot dogs, is some paper goods, I think. So, okay.
Okay, thank you. Next, number 5, discussion on the ideas to decorate and paint the temporary container for the mailboxes at the city center. Unless there's anybody here that would drastically like to petition to leave it this beautiful Maersk green out there. Other than you, David.
Can I see the picture of that again? Was it published somewhere?
I threw it on Facebook.
I should comment.
You know what?
I don't read Facebook.
Do you know what might be fun, teacher?
Yes, please carry on.
Teacher, paint in a base color and maybe America 250 thing. I know it's really like kindergarten, but it might be fun to do handprints and put people's names on them, citizens in the community or kids.
So we have 6 kids?
Almost like a time capsule, because we're gonna use this for all the ribbons in the city in the future.
It's gonna store water
Right.
pipe in the future and it would be nice. I like
So-
that idea, actually.
So at an orphanage that I was on the board of and I served at, they had a wall and they made a tree and they had all the kids do their hands and they added to it as different kids came through. And it was, because I served at this it was in Haiti, at this orphanage in Haiti, but I served at it for years, but to go back and see the names of, the kids that I had worked with like years before was really cool. And I don't know, I just thought of that right now. I'm like, it might be kind of fun to let citizens do the handprint and have their hand and like, you know, somebody can write in their name or whatever on it. I think that'd be cool.
Hey, Ben, sorry, Ted did show it to me.
Well, I'm gonna throw it up here anyway, just so that we can.
And Janet, I love that, by the way. Can I still comment? Sorry.
Yes. I'll let you.
Your wife said no.
If we weren't all scared of her, we'd tell you to ignore her.
Yes, please. You can speak.
You better. You got the word.
You got the word there. Okay. Let me see if I can move this. Jump over here. Yeah, so this is one of the ideas. This was Councilmember Roden that just used AI real fast to kind of throw it together. Then here's kind of a different idea. This one kind of scares me on complexity of painting, but.
Well, I was actually gonna ask, it might be actually easier to just have a graphic printed than to paint. It would be cheaper and it could be done in probably a couple of hours instead of, even this one, I wouldn't wanna paint that. That's a ton of,
So the tough thing, and I've done these before, is the texture of the side.
Yep.
So I've skinned them with just some cheap sheet metal, galvanized sheet metal, and then done that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
so anyway, I'm just saying, paint, we'll have to talk about paint versus graphic.
Well, and one thing I want to make sure, yes, is, you know, if we don't get any submissions from any residents on their ideas on how we could, we're going to be doing probably this one. That's my vote anyway. So please, if anybody's actually watching this, send in your submittals. And I like this too with the handprints. We could do this.
You could do
and-
trees.
Or could Janet do the handprints like on the doors and the back at sides or something?
Well, you could do them in the white stripes.
Just do the American 250 with handprints all around the rest of it.
Yeah, leave the middle
And
the same and then
I
over
can
the,
redesign this to have space designated for that kind of stuff and it's
Yeah.
easy enough.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we're all 5-year-olds inside still, right? I want my
If you're gonna
handprint on
do,
there.
I think if you're gonna do the handprints, it might not be a bad idea to bring the thing out on every year for Woodland Hills Days and let new people add to it. So you're constantly adding.
If we have the ability to move
To
it.
move it, that's a good question.
Hey,
That's where organic.
there's a couple of costs that would be involved in it, but it wouldn't be that much. It'd be a few $100s.
Yeah, well, it's 500 to get it moved. But that's 500.
You need to look for another place.
You've been assigned. Okay. Let me close this out here. Stop sharing. I will leave.
But I would say we will probably need to have that decision made this week or next. No,
I have-
next week.
Submittals need to be in by Friday to me.
Okay.
And then if I get any, I'll send them over to you guys and the staff, and we'll kind of do an informal poll and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we don't have the Poulters anymore.
No, we do not have Zach anymore. That would have been awesome. That would have made it really easy. Okay, any other comments on that? Okay, number 6, discussing engineering fees for the pickleball court. Ted?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you have a copy of the agreement there, but as part of the pickleball court grant money that we received, included in that grant money was cost for engineering. Now, it's part of our match dollars, which we're coming at with some of the city, with some of the remaining budget we have from other accounts, like the snowplow, stuff like that. But, so it's really city funds, because it will go towards our match part of the project. But the engineering that they have, as part of the grant, there was a max allowable engineering cost you could put in there. And even though our engineers wanted a little more, I told them, sorry, that's it. But so that's the contract is for that, is what we have in the grant for engineering for the pickleball court, which we'll have to get it engineered so we can put it out to bid.
With that engineering, do they also take into consideration, I know we have some drainage issues on that side, if I'm thinking of the right spots.
You are, yeah.
And then-
It's just below, that drainage issue is just below the trail. We're going on the other side of the trail, but
Oh,
generally
okay.
the same area.
Okay, and then we'll also include moving, I'm not sure if we have sprinkler pipe or anything under there that would need to be moved or anything like that. They'll take all that into consideration, or are they just doing the site prep, kind of site plan?
So most of what they're gonna do is the site and what we'll call structural or pickleball court. So there's the slab and then all the amenities go to pickleball court. And then the site plan, the sprinkler relocation is part of our match as well. We're gonna do that as part of our match. Toby and John Stout and I were up looking at it last week. We're gonna have to move some sprinklers around. But we also have some residents that will be doing in-kind work that goes also towards our match. They'll be helping with that as well. That have the excavation equipment, skid steers and stuff like that. So they'll be working on grading it out for us and help us with the sprinklers and stuff like that. So we've got some residents that are gonna be helping us with that.
You know, the engineering isn't gonna look at all on the surface coating, right?
It will spec a surface coating. It's an acrylic coating what goes on.
Okay, so I'm working with the people at my company. One of our businesses is California Sport Surfaces. And I am trying to get either low cost or donated with possibly some advertising space for them on the fence kind of thing. So I've been working that since we got the thing. I haven't gotten there. I've got the right people now. There's been no decisions made. But if you look up California Sport Services, we actually have multiple companies that do sports services. One of the big ones that do them all over the world.
Yeah, so what we would do is just if they want to donate it, we would just in the specs to the contractor, right, that material would be provided and then they would be applying it.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been trying to work that to try to get some, hopefully donated them.
And that would help with our in-kind match.
Real high end.
What's that?
That would help with our in-kind match, right?
Yeah, we could use it towards our in-kind match, so. Yep, yeah, we would just write into the spec that contractor is to
OSCI.
install
Yeah.
owner-provided material.
Can we,
Or supply contractor installed.
Can we see sometime, I mean, I guess maybe when you get the engineering done, but can we see like the plan for it? I'd like to see that.
Yeah, once we get some engineering going, we did a concept plan when we submitted for the grant. But it's basically just, here's the spot and here's some things that have to
So
happen.
it's the pavilion and then there's like where the volleyball is and then there's like the sidewalk and it's on this other, is that where you're saying? Where is it
It's
gonna?
where the volleyball poles are.
Okay,
They'll have to be relocated or, because that's kind of the best flattest spot we had to get it. It was kind of a nice look, because you come up from the pavilion, then you got the trail. And then you got kind of this flat spot where the volleyball poles are, and then you go up another hill onto the next flat spot. So right in that little spot was where it fit. with
Is
the
it running north and south?
yeah, it has to.
Good. It doesn't have to.
Well,
It could
no.
be stupid and put it.
I was
Salem did
I
do
was threatened with that one.
it. Yeah, you were.
Does the engineering, does it include a rendering just with?
I don't know
their
if there'll be a
existing-
rendering. There'll be engineering plans. They might can do a 3D rendering, but it's not in their scope right now.
Okay, if it was with the pavilion, give us kind of a rendering of how that, the end look is supposed to be, would be really nice.
And there's gonna be two, so are they end to end or side to side?
Side to side, I think.
Better be side to side.
Yeah. So otherwise it would run into the,
Yeah, and as far as the.
there's
other
enough
for the
width, I
drainage
guess
issue
I'm not
is,
seeing that
That would
there's.
be kind of a city contribution portion of the project. Same with where the flagpoles are. I don't know if you've seen it there, but it's just got rocks falling apart. All the water just kind of runs to that spot and then down through that drainage area. And so we've got to clear that out. And we'll probably put a bunch of rock in there and build a little sump so the water kind of catches where the flagpoles are, and then so it doesn't wash out the rest of the park. It's what we're planning there, but that might be a little bit of a separate project to do that one.
Wonderful. Okay, any other questions for Ted?
When are they gonna come do that? Just out of curiosity. I mean, once it's approved, is this like something they'll get on this week, next week?
The engineers?
Yeah.
As soon as I send them the contracts, as we
They're
send
good
the
to go.
contract,
Okay.
we'll get them the agreement, our What I talked to them about is to see if we could have it started in construction in the fall, probably be the earliest. Because it takes, just by the time you get the engineering done, it even takes just a month to get it out to bid, get a contractor, a month and a half. So if it takes them a couple of months to design it, you're probably talking just even September before we have a contractor, but.
Okay. Yeah, the concern, I'm just thinking of timing of Woodland Hills Days, whether we want to have it started and halfway done and have to deal with that, or if we want to wait until after Woodland Hills Days.
Woodland Hills
Wait
Committee
till
would
after
love to
Woodland
see
Hills
the
Days.
cement, they'd love to have the cement slab done for Woodland
Be
Hills
perfect
Days.
for a,
Part of our grant, we had to show multi-use for the facility, and one of them was a nice dance pad for all the city council and their spouses to go dance on.
perfect.
Break dancing or whatever they call it.
As long as we're turning on all the lights.
So,
Great.
yeah, we'll have a better idea once we get the contract to them, and my guess is we won't be starting them until after
Woodland Hills Days.
days.
Just out of curiosity, is that slab, does that have rebar or mesh, or is it
Post-tension.
post-tension stuff?
Mhm.
Wow.
Which is the best we can get. Good.
And that's what we priced out, was post-tension, yeah. When we put the grant together, we actually worked with a pickleball company. They helped us, kind of come up with some of the best ways to put this together.
Oh, great. Nice.
We worked with a company that builds them to help us with pricing,
Okay.
stuff like that. So it's a post-tension slab, is what we budgeted.
Yeah, great.
Is there gonna be a way for other residents, I mean, like dates or schedule or whatever? I know that makes it a little bit hard, but if residents want to get involved in helping or providing some support.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take all the resident volunteer work they want to contribute to a point. I mean, obviously pouring concrete and stuff like that's going to be a contractor or post-tension slab because of the way those are built.
Yeah.
But there can certainly be some resident contribution, especially when we're doing the grading work, because that is in-kind work, relocating sprinklers, stuff like that. So when we get a little bit better idea of the schedule, once we get kind of through this engineering, we'll then start looking at putting out notices to, hey, come and volunteer
Yeah, I mean,
these hours.
there's gonna be some sodding work, and there's always people to do that, and things like that, so that's.
It'd be great for people to know that.
Does the grant require a completion date of the project?
We just have to spend the money in 2 years.
Okay.
So
we're not like under the gun to.
no, not really. I think they get 20, I think it was 27 months to spend the money, so.
And it's holding a gun.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we'll get more pressure from our city to have it done than we will the grant organization.
Alrighty, awesome.
Other grant updates.
I don't think I have any other grant updates. Haven't heard from Burgess Owens' office yet. So that's the only other one I think we've got out there really that I can think of. We did hear back maybe a quick one on our trail money. And it appears we're probably not going to get funded for that one. Just kind of a long shot. That $3 million trail grant we applied for through MAG. We didn't make the cut as far as in the list. We were about halfway down the list.
I thought we were higher than that.
And
Right on the bubble.
kind of right on the, and it doesn't look like their money went quite far enough. So we'll try again in a couple of years, but.
Though, there still is the voting process, but Ted's most likely right.
Way to go, Mayor.
I'm a real downer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here we don't poll as hard as we would like in those meetings when, like the number one project on that grant request is a bridge over in Orem or Lehigh. When you exit that first exit in Lehigh, you come down, it jumps underneath an overpass and there's like a crosswalk right there. They're putting in a pedestrian bridge so that all of the school kids can get out of that freeway exit. They should beat us. We have kids that are nearly hit and they had cameras and showing it's a dangerous
City
thing.
should be doing that.
There are 30 projects that were on the list. There was $19 million is what they had to allocate. And
Well, we're in a tough situation when you're talking local, when you're talking the state of Utah type of grants. People look at Woodland Hills and they see the affluent people who live here and assume that we're an affluent community, but our city we don't have the tax base. So people don't, it never dawns on people that the sacrifices that the residents actually have to make.
Yeah.
So they don't see it.
And right now, most of, the MAG money goes towards transportation and active transportation projects. So roads and trails and stuff like that, bike trails and stuff like that. Most of it right now is going to road projects, especially in northern Utah County, because that's where all the congestion is. Eagle Mountain, Saratoga, Lehigh, they tend to get a lot of the money right now because that's where all the growth congestions. So as it moves, I think as we see the growth coming this way, maybe some of the, in fact, most of the projects on the list that were trail projects that didn't get funded were Southern Utah County projects. Santaquin, Elk Ridge, us. There's another one down here, maybe Salem or something. Anyway, so as it pushes this way, I think we'll start seeing some of the allocation coming this way.
And the other jerks will take it.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Ted,
Don't leave.
let's go with community development, public works, fire department updates.
I don't think I really got any updates there. I've been working on a little bit more information to possibly prepare an application for some funding for the water project. But I'm kind of wondering how to go about that with the potential of grant money from Burgess Owens' office. So kind of seeing how that plays out. And then our phase 3 of our pavement project, we have a pre-construction meeting coming up in the next couple of weeks. Just thinking, because I think it was supposed to be today, but the engineer never got back to us. So probably the next couple of weeks, but the contractor's gearing up. He's been providing us with submittals and stuff like that. So they're gearing up to going on that one probably in July for the phase 3 of the pavement management project. The roundabout project is 100% designed, and they're just now out for, they're going to start putting bid documents together to go to bid and working with property owners to get rights of way. It could happen this year. The county's talking about, the project entails more than just the roundabout. It goes down 11-200, improvements all the way to the church at Summit Creek, Civic Center, and then also down Woodland Hills Drive, and then up past the church coming up Woodland Hills Drive, and then the step out. So it entails more than just the roundabout. They're talking about breaking that possibly into what they could 2 bid alternatives. So the roundabout goes, and then if they still need to continue working with the property owners on the rest of it, they can do that and then award that to the contractor who's ready to go. So possibly could still start this year, the roundabout.
Is there a drop dead date when they'll just say, no matter what, we're not doing it after, say, September 1, or will they roll into the winter months to do a project like that?
If they did, my guess is the winter months would mostly just be contractual stuff with, putting out the bid, getting the contractor going, get all the construction documents in place, the submittals and all that stuff provided, and then probably start in the spring with the actual construction. I don't know what their drop dead. I think right now they're just keeping it going forward until at some point they decide maybe we don't start construction till spring, but they'll continue the rest of the process.
Okay.
Yeah, because even right now, it would likely be September before it even started construction, even if they went out to bid in the next couple of weeks. So
Then you're quickly into November before you know it.
yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, nothing really on the fire side we can think of.
Okay, thank you very much, Ted. Wayne. Planning Commission and Code Enforcement.
We have planning commission meeting next week. The primary issue will be our final public hearing on the general plan. So it's out there on the webpage now for anybody to look at. We've gotten one letter from a resident with some suggestions. A lot of it didn't have to do with the general plan, but general concerns they had about the city and one thing or another. So we're looking through that and see if there's anything that we ought to incorporate in the general plan or not. But after that, then it'll be just a matter of doing some formatting for it and be ready for publication, copy to all of you. The comments that you've made during your review are all included in there now. So that's what's out for the general public to look at. If they have any comments or concerns, to provide them to us, and we'll further assess them with you all in that process, but getting close. The other thing that I wanted to make, tonight the mayor is going to be making a recommendation to y'all for an alternate planning commission person, and I just want to let you know that I support that recommendation when it comes to you. So, any questions? Very much. Thank you.
Mayor, can I make one more comment? And I'm mostly doing this just to put it on out of the public. You may have received a message a couple days ago from a new communication platform that we're putting, that we're going to start using. The actual platform is called Yopify, but you don't see that unless you go to the actually city website. This communication is a platform we're preparing to use as we've got upcoming pavement projects, potential water line projects, roundabout. We've got some kind of a high risk fire year. We've got a drought going on. So this is a communication tool that we can use to get some of this important information out to residents, to communicate what we need to communicate to them, but not overwhelm their boxes with just, a bunch of. So if you get those for the residents, please sign up for it. Don't opt out. You have that option. This is a platform we're using to communicate some of that important information.
So default is opt-in. The resident would need to opt out. So the default is opt-in. Okay.
Yeah, default is opt-in. You have to opt out. It went out to 600 and some odd contacts to our city system. And we've already had several that have been sending back information to approve them as being part of it. So just want to make people aware of that so they don't think they're getting spam mail. This is actually something from us that we're going to be using as a communication platform.
And it sounds like general important information, but will not be used for emergency services. That will still go through our other one, right?
Correct. Yeah. If it's something like an evacuation or something, a disaster, so to speak, we'll still use Everbridge that we currently have been using for a long time. Some time ago, the council had opted to use that as just a kind of an emergency disaster use, and we'll keep that. That's the one that comes every month with our siren testing. That's an Everbridge. We'll maintain that as our kind of our disaster notification system. But this other platform will be used for most just other information.
Okay.
And you didn't mention, it's two-way, which I think is fantastic.
Correct. It is two-way. And maybe thanks for bringing that up, Nana, because we don't monitor this all day because you have to actually be on the website as it's an administration website. You have to sit and monitor if you're watching all the responses. So we don't monitor this all the time. There will be an automatic text that comes back and says,
Thanks.
We're not monitoring this full time. So if you have an emergency, please call the city. But as we ask for responses or if we can respond to them, so we will if we need to. So yes, it is a two-way communication system. Thanks for bringing that up.
Wonderful. Okay. Doral, you're up.
All right. See you all moving up on the edge of your seats because you can't wait to hear this. We finished our budget, voted on the budget. This is for Central Utah 911. And very interesting, of the about 26 cities, we're like one of 3 cities where our costs actually went down a little bit. Mostly due, the last 3 years, our number of calls have gone from about 1,000 to about 900 to about 800. So that's a good trend to have the calls go down to 911. Call them when you need them, but so our budget will be about the same. And when we're given a budget amount, That's with them fully employed out, fully, all the seats filled. Right now, they have 42 people that are employed there. They would like 51. So it kind of gives you an idea. And this place is always hiring. They're always trying to find people. It's, I think it's one of those entities that has a little bit of turnover because of the stress and people don't know they can't do it until they try to do it sometimes. So anyway, that's the current situation down there.
You have that number by chance?
It is, the total amount
Yes.
is going to be 23,551. That would be the max. And it's, last year it was 24,442. So it's actually, so that's kind of basically about the same amounts we've paid last year.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, just in case you're interested, they have a very good Facebook page. It's called Central Utah 911. If you search for that, they have a very, it's updated frequently, and they have like a call of the week, and they recognize one of their employees that had a standout call that week. For example, one of the ones I read, one of the new people on the phone delivered a baby this last week, and I guess that happens occasionally, and it's a very rewarding thing when those go well. And this young lady helped deliver this baby over the phone, and was congratulated for a job well done. And they like to recognize those kinds of things. So I put a tour out there that's potentially available if you're interested. 2 of you have reported in with a confirm that you'd be interested in that. So keep that in mind if you want me to go through with it. One of the most interesting things they're talking about right now is a very large city is contemplating moving their services from Metro, a different 911 entity, over to our group. That would be Orem and Linden, and they're huge. If they came to us, just to illustrate how big they are, there'd be about a $2 million buy-in just for them to get in and pay that base fee to use our product. It would take a couple of years to turn them into one of our customers. They would become our largest customer. Right now, our largest customer is Lehigh. Lehigh pays about $1,100,000 a year, so it kind of gives you an idea of the size we have. But if that goes through, it would really change our dispatch. I think it would be a positive thing. We would be able to afford even nicer tools that we haven't invested in yet. One of the tools I want us to look for and get is called an AVL tour, or an AVL system. That's an automatic vehicle locator, so that they would know where all of our trucks, police, all of that equipment was. And so when there was a call somewhere, they could see who was closest. They could also see your response as you began to move toward a scene. Anyway, it's a system that we're talking about anyway, but that would be a nice feature to have. Let's talk about that. So
Salt Lake uses that. All of Salt Lake County has that.
it would
They
be,
now dispatch based on location rather than geographic, or than their districts.
it's smart, yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of excited watching this Orem Linden possibility turning into something. We don't know why Orem Linden is considering this. We believe it's due to the state of Utah pushing all cities to consolidate into fewer dispatch centers. It just makes sense, for for the services to become better and more centralized. And so it could happen. See if I have anything else. I think that's all I have unless you have questions, but that's it.
Okay, appreciate you. Okay, we're going to excuse with no update emergency management. We'll move over to the mayor and city council reports. MAG and COG, we haven't had a meeting since my last report. SESD, I kind of gave that update as to that UT dog case that we've kind of resolved there. We did actually have an outage in the outage report that they give us each board meeting on Woodland Hills Drive a few weeks ago. And this is me now just bragging about the lineman at SESD. The contractor that hit it operates in a number of different cities, typically operating with Rocky Mountain Power when that happens. And our guys showed up and had the thing done in literally like 3 hours. And these were main huge artery lines in Salem. They come from our hub that is up off over on Powerhouse Road through into the rest of the districts, the SESD services. And the contractors were floored. They expected it to not be completed or fixed till the next morning. And our guys were just machines. They got that sucker done so quick. It's amazing listening to the outage report each board meeting and how good the servicemen the linemen that are servicing our electricity are and how fast. As for the Dry Creek transfer station, we just barely passed the 2027 budget in our last board meeting there. And we're working also to try and increase our efficiencies between the transfer station and the dump. We've got some new management there that we're trying to convince of the maybe potentially more efficient ways of operation. And that'll be it for me. So Councilmember Hutchings.
So we actually had meetings this week. Zumba was a fairly quick, a couple of officers and budget, just going through and voting on the budget. Now Nebo was actually significantly more. And part of it, I'd emailed both you and Ted about conservation efforts because we were reporting on that. I didn't have anything to report. Just as note, Salem actually does have some they're doing some things to help conserve water. They've worked on their rates. They watch for excessive usage, monitoring meters, looking for continuous flows, those kind of things. Payson hasn't got any restrictions yet. Spanish Fork is more prioritizing on the outreach side of things. They have regular posts and stuff like that they're doing, and they're doing stuff in the schools. Central Utah, I didn't even know these were going to be here. Central Utah is actually they're trying to do quite a bit. The Yavapai, they're committing to using more of that in their communications and their watching of the water. They talked about, there are a lot of incentives that we can get for smart controllers, low water resodding. There's big money incentives on redoing your lawns, all kinds of stuff that Central Utah actually has and makes available to residents. I'm hoping that some of that's in here, but because they promised us more information.
Make sure you get photos before you start, not like me, go kill your lawn and then try and get the reimburse from Central Utah. Really good before photos.
Yeah. That's good knowledge. I didn't know that one. But it's really, so they're seeing, Central Utah is seeing a large conservation effort already happening, which I talked about last time, right? Is that when it's a good season, people are willing to make those conservation efforts. And right now, everybody knows we've got a real problem. I mean, if you look at our reservoirs, they're actually higher than what I had expected them to be, 75, 85%. I thought they were going to be much lower. Well, the problem is they're not going to come back up once we drain them down. This is what they're there for. But we're worried about continued use. And so the monitoring, the water levels, Ted reports on water levels to Central. Is this to Central or to Mount Nebo that you're reporting directly to? Is it
Central.
Straight to Central, right? So he reports on what we're drawing out. They're monitoring our aquifers, putting trends together. This is new data, all this stuff that they've been working on over the last few years. But pushing for more water conservation efforts, because it's coming at us. It's coming at us pretty hard. And of course, everybody's worried about the water that's going to be needed with the expected high fire season. And so that's going to hit, I think that's going to hit us harder in a lot of our surface waters that we're not dependent on, but the whole valley is dependent on, is those surface water being depleted for fires. I mean, we've already seen quite a few fires that have come through. So I'm going to still encourage more conservation efforts.
Little ones that started today.
Yeah.
In the county. Yeah.
I'm going to push, I'm going to continue to be that voice in your ear saying, I think we should be doing something. I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing to do at my place, just to conserve water. I like grass, but maybe not. So.
And one thing we are looking at, just for everybody's information, is the fact that our city already has a lower, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ted, but our city already has a lower consumption rate than most municipalities, simply because we have a lot more native vegetation in our city.
But the one thing, and I don't know if we have the ability, or I assume we're watching it, because most cities do. Did you know 3% of the population, or of the users, use 50% of the water in most municipalities?
And do they grow crops? Okay.
So,
but in in cities, in municipal water districts, 3%, that might be businesses.
Yeah.
But what they were pushing when they talked about that is leak detection. Because when you have a leak, you have thousands of gallons of water going in the ground that you don't even know about. I had one at my house in Payson where I had a bypass on a water softener down in my basement that blew, and I was running water constantly.
We just had that at our HOA up in Idaho.
So I don't know if we have the ability at all to monitor.
so what we do in respect to that, the way we do it is, so Lori does the monthly billings. And with that, she's always looking at water use, and she'll look at the comparative uses. So for example, if someone's bill all of a sudden jumps up to 2 or 3 times, she then flags that person and says, hey, sends them an email or whatever, says, hey, your water use just went up significantly, you might want to look for water leak.
Is this software that flags it, or is she doing it?
Manually right now, we have the water system software for us, but she has to go in and look at them when she does the meter stuff. And she'll look at it, it's pretty intuitive for her to catch it.
Yeah.
And she does a pretty good job at that. We're also so this Yopify we talk about, that we've implemented for this communication software. Well, it's also going to be used for water conservation, because Central Utah is paying for this program, basically. So I was just talking to the lady yesterday that's representing this Yopify. Here in July, when our usage usually starts to go up, ours goes a little later than most communities because we tend to be a little cooler longer. In July, we're going to start looking at water use. And this Yopify, what it will do, it will actually, to some of the 3%, of the higher users, it'll send them a notice just saying, hey, you're using quite a bit of water, you may just want to monitor your water use. Eventually, this will get to where people can monitor their own use, this program. They can get in and they can look at their own water use and manage they can't change the billing or anything, but they can get in and see what their water use is. So it's ultimately what we're going to get it to as far as the water conservation side of things, so people can actually start monitoring themselves as well. But yes, that's where we're going with this program, is to start using it for water conservation efforts as well. And it will send notices to people that if their billings go all of a sudden way high, the Shopify will pick that up and send them a notice saying, hey, your water use just went up really high. What's going on?
Yeah, most of the cities are doing that.
We do that now. We just do it with Lori instead of the program.
Okay. Also, I sent out an email to everybody, the July 1st meeting. You respond directly to I believe it was Steve. I think he's the one who sent it out. But if you have questions, again, this is not a meeting for our local council to ask Central Utah or Mount Nebo or Sumba or anybody else. This is really for them to give a presentation and for our state and federal elected legislators to ask questions of Central Utah. If you have other questions and you want to have those answered, send it to me as a board member. My job is to liaise between us and them. So don't go there with your questions. Please bring those to me so I can get those answered offline. So that we can concentrate on our state and federal elected leaders.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. Councilmember Johns.
So just to clarify, since Aaron's not here, we're still doing the fire drill on the 20th. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Thank you.
It's still occurring. As far as the Home Builders Associations, been pretty quiet. Everybody's been finalizing their parade homes, which is now going on. So if you enjoy walking homes, go check them out. There's some really cool things that people do. And
Did all of our homes make it?
I think so.
I think the last one just made it today.
Because I had some agents that said, that there was like 3 or 4 homes less than what was originally listed. And I wondered if any of those were ours that didn't make it.
We have 3, and I think the third one just opened up today. Was it
Yeah,
today?
today.
Or yesterday?
Wow.
Today.
They turned their sign around, so it doesn't say closed anymore.
They had a few people who were.
Did they?
anyways, good to check them out if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. Councilmember Lund?
I don't have anything else.
Wonderful. Councilmember Malkovich is excused. She is currently traveling. Councilmember Roden?
No, other than Janet and I got together with the Woodland Hills Committee. We've started that process, for Woodland Hills Days. So we've got that underway and going, and then just trying to make sure that we execute whatever's in front of us well, and make sure it's those that do attend have a great time and want to come back the next time and look forward to the next. So we work hard on that just to try and make it an enjoyable experience.
It is really nice kind of sharing the load.
Yeah.
Because we just conquer and divide. It's been really nice.
Good.
I'm probably still like kind of hanging on.
No, I love it because then I can just blame you for.
But I am trying, I'm working on letting go and passing it on. So I think.
By way of note, I am building an application that will manage Woodland Hills Days going forward. So it will take all of our everything we have from previous years, who did what we paid, invoices, everything there, so that the next committee will have immediate resources there. It also has a Kanban task manager to make sure everybody who's involved is doing things, has some dependency calculations built in. And then I'll work with the council and the city to figure out where to best deploy that. We can deploy that on the city web domain and just have it password protected, 2-factor authentication protected there. And then just just add new users as we get different people to be involved with it. And then it just, right now, I mean, when it got handed to us, it was 7 3-ring binders. Now it's moved to Google Docs, which is good. But then whoever makes the Google Doc moves on, and can I have access to that Google Doc? And now all of a sudden you're sharing a whole bunch of stuff just through random people. So I just figured, why not put it in an application in a database to manage?
Could that be easily set up for other things too? Like when we do our fire expo, it's always, oh, how much did we get? And call Janet up. Did you buy these last year? And
Yeah, I can expand it to all events quite simply. So, because it's all
That'd be
about,
way
the
cool.
same. And then, yeah, so I have no problem doing that.
I mean, same with our
Well,
Halloween thing.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, every time
Santa.
every event that we
every time,
have-
I know that Santa calls Elf Lunt every year and just says, how many candy canes did we do last year? So we should probably take some pressure off of Santa trying to figure out that every year.
Yeah, because Elf Lunt stores leftovers in their cold storage, so they're still good for next year.
Anyway, so that's an advancement from the technology side, just to help us better manage that for future folks to be able to manage it more simply.
Wonderful, thank
On
you.
an IT question,
Yep.
do you know what the cost is for a city email address?
Per email address, it's usually anywhere between $15 to $20 a month.
A month, okay.
Yeah, Brett's the better one.
Brett's the better one to have for that.
Yeah,
And it depends on,
Reaching
primarily it depends on how much file storage you're going to assign to each address. So that's variable
well,
cost.
as we talk about teams, Ted and I have been sharing, I've been sharing some files on equipment needs and stuff like that. And I think with like the fire leadership group, I was suggesting maybe we look at that because Teams works really well for sharing files, OneDrive and that kind of thing. They wouldn't have to have the storage if they could have the access to those that do have the storage. And I know Rachel already has one, but we have, assistant chiefs and we've got safety officers and things like that. It would be really nice to have those access just for, because the Google Docs is a pain.
It's a pain.
And Ted and I have been using OneDrive. I started up with OneDrive and shared it with him, and we've been using that. And it's so nice because you can collaborate real time and things like that. So I was just kind of curious the cost of it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Number 10, items for upcoming city council meetings. I have one. I was speaking with Wayne, and I really love this idea. We are with the new roundabout, and the basically the destruction or relocation of our signs for the city. We're looking at getting a new city sign welcoming people into our city. And so we would love to add this to a future discussion item or potentially even do another kind of contest is the wrong word, but take submittals of some cool designs of what that might look like, on what type of a sign we'd want to see coming into our city. So just kind of put that in the back of your head as you're driving around, seeing different cities' signs, and if you like one that you feel like.
I like our old logo with the scrub oak that said Woodland Hills. I like that one.
Perfect, so think about that. We'll add that to a future agenda item. Is there any other future agenda items?
I don't know if it's an agenda item. I'm just kind of curious what the process is going to be. We talked about last time the vacation of the property for Summit Creek. And making sure that meets with all the things. I don't know if it's strictly with Wayne and the planning commission or if that would need to come through here.
That'll come through
Jody's
here.
doing a lot of the groundwork on it, but it's pretty extensive to go through that whole process to vacate and or sell land.
Yeah, and with the new rules, and I, had mentioned that Jody has the copy of what I sent out as well. So I just want to make sure that gets where it needs to go. I want to make sure we're following the new rules properly.
So I've been working with our attorney on that and actually had some correspondence back and forth with her today. It depends what the value of the lot is, because if it's under 20,000, we can go ahead and follow what's outlined in our code. If it's valued at over 20,000, then we do have to follow the state newly adopted code. And so first thing we need to do though is get a survey. And we need to get a meets and bounds of the property that we're looking at. So that's the first thing we've been kind of working at. After that, we'll go through the next steps, probably a appraisal of the property. Once the appraisal is done, figure out what the value of it is and decide which rule.
Yeah, and we have the ability to set, based on my research of the state code, we have the ability to set that dollar amount. But again, I think we have we need to do it to protect, not to make it easy on us, but to protect the citizens of Woodland Hills.
Well, they're the owners of the land.
Yes, exactly.
We
So,
need to not lessen the value of it because it becomes easier on
correct.
us,
Yeah, we
but
don't-
give it a fair value
yep.
so that.
But we can set that, but we can set the amount where it has to go through public hearings and things like that based on the new rules. Right now, it defaults, I believe, to 200,000 or 400,000, one of the two. But we can set that amount to be whatever it is we want. If it's 20, if we want to say it's 20,000, we've got that ability. But if it does broach that limit, then it has to go through public hearing.
We have to go through a public hearing to clear the 20,000.
I'll read again.
To our attorney today is what he said. I'll forward you the
Yeah,
email.
well, okay, because it seemed like it didn't have to for something smaller. And it refers to real property and non-real property. So those are the things that kind of need to be set, and we don't currently have set, so we have to follow the defaults
Yeah,
set
so
by the state.
we're currently sitting right around that 25,000, right, which breaches the 20,000. Another thing for you guys to be aware of is I am asking, I have Ted working and Jody on the land that currently is owned by Woodland Hills City, that's in Salem, that houses our salt shed. We have had surveyors headed down there to get the meets and bounds on that, to get it annexed into our city, actually, instead of in Salem. So just so you guys are aware, that is also being worked on right now. Okay, anything else? Wonderful. Look at this. This is great, you guys.
Take a
So
quick
almost at a whole number. So this makes me figure out how to do some math a little easier. We will break real quick before our city council meeting starts, and we will adjourn the city council meeting. Not adjourn it. We will start the city council meeting at 7:45.
Okay. I'm gonna
Look at you rounding.
Okay, we'd like to start the city council meeting. We're going to start with an invocation by Councilmember Lunt and a pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Johns.
Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for the opportunity we have to meet together tonight and to discuss plans for our community and things that we need to vote on, and to discuss how much we value our employees and just things that need to be done in the community and also our citizens. Please help us to be mindful of the needs of our community and also the individual people who live here, and to respect their opinions and listen to their voices and to weigh those and take those into consideration as we vote on things and make decisions on their behalf. And we're so grateful for this opportunity and for the opportunity to protect our beautiful community and help us to always be thoughtful in our decisions and to always consider others. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. We'd like to open the public comment. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per individual, unless otherwise directed by myself. Comments submitted by email must be received by 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting to be included in the official record. Emailed comments will not be read aloud during the meeting, but will be distributed to the city council and included in the meeting record. So we will open that public comment. Diana, anything today? No? How about Craig? Think we'll get anything from Craig? Craig, do you have anything to say? He should be in bed. Okay, Craig, you should better go to bed. Thank you for joining us, Craig. We appreciate that. Dorwell, David, anything else?
We spoke our turn.
Very spoke ours.
Okay, wonderful. Then we will close the public comment. Thank you all for your attendance. We will move to the consent agenda. Hey, I don't have anybody online, so we can make this more.
Yes, you can. Imagine that.
So, approving the city minute or the city council meeting minutes for May 12th and May 26th. We can do those individually or together.
So I'll make a motion,
Okay.
even though the AI really made me sound a lot better than I came across.
The AI.
I know.
You gotta use it when you got
Yeah,
I agree.
people were really frustrated with me, and it didn't seem that bad when I read it. It was actually pretty good, so.
People, you mean me?
Not just you,
AI is designed to
everybody.
flash.
I was going off that,
No, I just felt bad that, I don't know. I could just tell that you were really bothered, and I just wanted to say, I understand, but also you have to do our job. Like, I just felt bad that you were so bothered. I am.
Your comments, we softened them.
they softened really nice.
It's okay. We still have the digital record of the recording.
It did take a few times.
Cause your points were all valid and we wanted to have it.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it, and I was like, did I say that?
So is that for both?
For both, I'll make a motion to approve both.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilmember Hutchings for the motion, Councilmember Roden for the second. All in favor?
okay.
Any opposed? The consent agenda passes. Ordinance 2026-11, amending the compensation schedule. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Roden with the motion.
I'll second it. And
Councilmember Lunt with the second. Do we have a discussion?
no, just a comment that if there had been opposition to the elected officials' compensation, I was gonna still make a motion, but say that I would make it not take effect until after I leave office, because I'm not doing it for me. And I think everybody here feels the same. And so if there was going to be opposition tonight, I would still approve it and I would still vote to approve it, but I would just say, I'm not doing it for me. I actually am doing it for the people after me. So if there was a way to make it active after I leave, I would do that. I'm just saying, because and I think, is there anybody else that would disagree with me? Because none of us are doing it for ourselves.
10 more years.
I am not. And none of us are doing it for ourselves. So that's my comment, is that if anyone was to question my integrity on that one.
I agree with what you're saying. I still don't want anybody who's gonna go for the council for the money. But the running of our city has become much more complex over the years. And in my opinion, that's the mayor. The mayor's the executive. And I think the mayor needs more. With the complexity of what we've got and what he's dealing with. And each mayor has taken, that I've watched, has taken a chunk, right? And worked on that chunk. And Mayor Hilliard is working on his chunk now. And I think each one of them deserves more than $7,200 with what they're putting in. As long as it's paying for my gas, which it might not pay for Carrie, with what we're currently getting paid, with what Carrie goes up to the
No.
Capitol, it can't pay for her gas. It does mine because I don't even go to.
Well, and her committee that she has to go meet with for the, League of Cities and Towns and, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't. So I can understand it that way. For me, it pays for, even if I was going to St. George, which I haven't done in 2 years, it would pay for that. And it pays for me to go to Salem and meet with them down there. So I'm not for giving myself a raise at all. But I'm for giving the mayor a raise and I'm for giving the staff a raise. And I think the staff raise is too small, but what we can afford. But I wish I would prefer to see the mayor get more money.
But also remember that we no longer have, we eliminated a position. We no longer have a finance director. So we're not paying for that. So we're still saving the city a lot of money.
I know.
And the taxpayers, we're saving the taxpayers a lot of money.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Councilmember Jones,
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings,
Yes.
Councilmember Roden,
Yes.
Councilmember Lund.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that ordinance passes. Thank you for that support. Motion to approve the engineering fees for the pickleball court.
Ooh, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember, so our pickleball team, Councilmember Jones with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Resolution 2026-39, appointing an alternate to the Planning Commission. My request for that alternate position is slipping my mind. Galen Briggs, yes, thank you. So I still have one more interview that I need to finalize. Brian and I are working on that, and then I'll be able to make the recommendation for the full commissioner seat. But for the alternate, I am recommending with the council from Councilmember Hutchings, as well as the Planning Commission, for Galen Briggs to take that seat.
I will make that motion.
Councilmember Hutchings with a motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Roden with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that resolution passes. Okay, we have had some updates on the legal front, but do we have enough for a council update, do you guys feel? I'm never remembering what you guys have been updated on and what is just, okay. Then, yeah, we've had a few things and like I said, I'm trying to remember because I get updated on it daily. So if you would like, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Johns with a motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Councilmember Hutchings with a second. Councilmember Lund.
Yes.
Councilmember Roden.
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
Councilmember Johns.
Yes.
Before we go in, can I ask a question? Is it possible to donate my raise to the activities budget?
You can't donate it, well, you could get it and then donate it back.
Okay, I can't just have it.
No.
Okay.
They want the taxes out of it first.
There is truth to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do the other.
Then we are going to head into closed session. Craig, thank you so much for joining us. Diana, as always, thank you for your attendance.
Touch your cheek.
Okay, we are back. Anything to be said?
No, just, I thought we'd have more participation tonight. In a lot of ways, I was a little disappointed. I would have liked to have heard some different voices from the community and different opinions. And maybe it's because nobody's concerned about the things we voted on or talked about tonight and they support it. But I would have liked to have heard from them. So in a lot of ways, I'm disappointed that we didn't have more people here. I would have loved to have heard more voices.
I agree.
I wonder if we would have, if I had been able to get my video out a little earlier. It only took me 7 tries to get that one, and so they were all train wrecks, so it was great. Wonderful. Then if nothing else, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you all.